Okay, so this week is week 4. After this week, we'll be halfway through our term. And so we are finishing up Unit 2, and we're going to cover Chapter 7 this week because Chapters 5 and 6 were completed last week through the terms assignments and the discussion. And I hope you were working on the business plan part 2. The majority of this assignment, the part 2 of the business plan, it does come from Chapter 5 mostly, but the organizational chart will come from Chapter 6. And then you can finish it up this week because the last 2 questions on that assignment deal with Chapter 7. So you've got the Chapter 7 terms assignment due on Tuesday. That business plan project part 2 will be due on Saturday, and then the Unit 2 exam will be due on Sunday. So you can click here. You'll be able to get the rubric when you click here, and this is where you'll submit. But click here to get the instructions for the assignment. So as I said, I talked about this in last week's video. The first 4 questions have to do with Chapter 5. The organization chart has to do with Chapter 6, and then these last 2 questions have to do with Chapter 7, because Chapter 7 is operations management. So we look at the operations of producing a product or producing, designing, and delivering a service. And so you'll have different strategies that you're going to use that will maximize your operations capabilities. So that's one of the things you'll talk about in Chapter 6. You'll explain any type of raw materials and supplies you need, and then also talk about what business strategy you're going to use to create value through your operations. So you'll need to quote the textbook. The textbook gives some examples. For example, Toyota uses quality, right? They talk about dependability being a strategy for operations capabilities, flexibility, customer service focus. So think about what will be your operations capability, right? What are you going to be maximizing with your business strategy? And then quality assurance. That's also talked about because you want to build quality into everything that you're doing. So every step of your operations should be about quality, from the time you acquire your raw materials until the time you deliver your goods or you perform your service for your customer, including any follow-up. That's always a very important part of quality. So the chapter talks about tools of quality management. And so you're going to want to talk about those tools as well as make sure you're quoting the textbook, right? Where it says providing a quote from the textbook. That's really important to tie it into the textbook. Okay. All right. So you can scroll down to the Chapter 7 tab and get some materials. Here's kind of like an introduction to the chapter, the objectives. You can see the tasks for this week, right? Because Chapters 5 and 6 should be done. That should have been done last week. So you've got the Chapter 7 terms assignment, the business plan part 2, and the exam. Okay, so the exam is open until Sunday night. You don't have to wait till Sunday night, and you shouldn't wait till Sunday night if something could come up that would prevent you from doing the exam. You're more than welcome to get this work done before the weekend if you have a busy weekend. Okay, so the Unit 2 exam is covering Chapters 5, 6, and 7. It's 25 short answer questions. I've given you 2 hours to complete it. That should be plenty of time because I want you to be able to refer back to the textbook. So if you have the ebook, you're going to need to open the textbook on another tab. So here I can go to Chapter 5, right? And I do have the questions labeled. All of the Chapter 5 are together, then the 6 and the 7. And then here you can go and refer back to. Now, if you've done the terms assignment, you have familiarity with the chapter. So that's why it is plenty of time to get it done in 2 hours, right? But you need to refer back and forth. If you, that's why I've given you extra time. You should not be doing internet searches or, using AI, because if you get a different answer, it's going to be marked wrong. I don't want you just copying and pasting. I want you to be reading and thinking about these topics when you answer the exam. Okay, so I want everybody to do really well. Last week on the Unit 1 exam, or I guess that was 2 weeks ago, there was somebody that got a 96 on the exam, and I want to be seeing all those higher scores. Okay, so that's my hope. And then I do have just some videos about the different topics, reminders, next steps, as well as here's the chapter outline, here's the PowerPoint, and then here's where you can get to the assignments, here's the due dates. Okay, so that's the week. Please reach out to me with your questions. I did meet with a student this past week. We had a video conference, and I'm happy to do that, especially if that's going to get you on the right track for what you need to do. Otherwise, I might be able to answer your question by email, but please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Okay, so I look forward to hearing from you, and have a good week.